Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review one of Amazon's big films coming out for award season, One Night in Miami. And this is written by Kemp Powers, who also wrote Soul, that's coming out later this year, actually in a couple of weeks, in terms of streaming on Disney Plus, and then from director Regina King, who at this point is an award-winning actress and now is taking some turns behind the camera and tells the story of one night where four famous black men, Malcolm X, Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, and Muhammad Ali, are there to celebrate Muhammad Ali winning his championship. And what ensues is an evening of supposed to be celebration but winds up being an evening of reflection and tension over racial issues in our country, and where each of them kind of fell in terms of those race relations. And this is a film that very much feels like a play. And most of the film takes place inside this motel, whether it's inside a room, out in the parking lot, or up on the roof. And there's moving parts at the beginning that set the stage. There's a couple of times where they cut away from the motel and at the ending kind of wrapping things up, but for the most part it's staged in this place. And that's where the film can feel a little, staged and feel a little bit too much like actors standing there and saying their lines in a bit of a artificial kind of way. But in general, Regina King does a really fantastic job directing this film. There's a lot of energy and emotion and great performances she gets out of her very talented quartet of actors at the center of this film. It's well shot, it looks beautiful, and really emotes. It really captures the tone. There's some humor, there's some banter, but it really hits to the core of differing ideologies between these four friends and how their different outlooks on helping people of color makes for a very tense and engaging and enthralling night and experience watching this as a film. And honestly, when it really comes down to it, this film has so much to say. It does it in a really clever way, very smart way, and very moving way. The dialogue is poignant, it feels meaningful for the most part. And when it really comes down to it, this film rides on this amazing, amazing cast. Because honestly, I don't really have to go a whole lot in depth in terms of, but they all four men capture their subjects so incredibly well. Their energy, their presence, just everything about them and their interactions feel so natural and organic and meaningful. You have Kingsley Ben Adir playing Malcolm X. He has that control and presence where he's so sure of himself and what he's doing, and you do see some vulnerability, which are really meaningful moments in the film. You have Eli Gorey, who plays Cassius Clay, aka Muhammad Ali. He just exudes charisma, and he just embodies that spirit that Muhammad Ali had that made him one of the biggest personalities in the world. Aldous Hodge, who I'm a big fan of, playing Jim Brown, he captures the confidence, he captures just the presence, and just what he's able to do is he's so commanding and also feels so confident in how he interacts with the different people in this film. And then you have Leslie Odom Jr., who has a lot to do with really capturing Sam Cooke, and he does his singing, he does his acting, he captures emotion, he captures his charisma, and the singing. There's one particular scene at the very end of this film that's centered around a musical piece, and it's so poignant and meaningful, and just, this film knocked it out of the park at the end, and just left this film sitting there emotionally just imprinted on you as an audience. And it's so hard to really knock the ending out of the park, but this film does it. And Leslie Odom Jr. is such a big focal point to that, and how Regina King pulls that all together. This is where it might feel a little staged and kind of like a play and a little less cinematic than it could. This film is meaningful and extremely well performed. Everyone's firing on all cylinders and makes for an extremely moving and poignant experience watching a film. This is the kind of thing that you expect around this time of year, and One Night in Miami doesn't disappoint. And I look forward to seeing what else Regina King winds up doing as a director as well. But those are my thoughts on One Night in Miami. Let me know what you think. Let's talk some movies. But thank you as always for tuning in and supporting your Wasteland reviewer.